Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Debrief podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jenna.
And we are your hosts, and we are in a new location. New to me.
Yes.
But not new to Jenna.
Yes. I recorded my solo episode here, but Tanner built out our shed into a little office, little workshop, podcasting. It's not just for podcasting. It's actually mostly for him to work out here.
It serves him most of the time.
But the big reason that we're excited about being here is because we're away from the beagle.
The beagle that barks. I wish that we could show you guys, it was earlier days of podcasting, but how much we would have to cut out of Buddy.
It was horrible.
He would just him walking through, him barking at things.
It's just truly he
is not a debriefer.
No.
He's against everything we do.
He's not a member of the Special Drink Club for sure.
For sure. Anyways, he's still up for adoption.
Yeah, if anyone's interested in taking in a senior beagle, that is still an option.
Give him a good last few years. Who knows? Anyways.
Just want to say thank you to everyone who ordered our merch. We were very happy with the outcome.
So happy. I know I'm sad I'm not wearing some right now.
I know, me neither. I'm actually wearing, we're recording on 4th of July weekend, so yeah. I'm wearing my American merch from Old Navy, but
I got my NASA shirt.
Yeah.
I feel like it says the state of Texas.
Texas, but
gets the job done.
We're repping America.
Yeah.
And what was I just saying? The merch.
4th of July weekend. Oh, yeah, merch.
Oh, yeah. We're very happy with the outcome, and we are excited to get it all. And
oh my gosh, the day that the big box gets delivered to your house, and then I can come over and we can package everything. I'm just picturing it being the best girls' night vibe.
I agree. I know that we can't, but it would be fun to record the podcast while packing, but it would be so crinkly.
Maybe we'll go live on Instagram. And we'll take
cute.
Questions or something.
Literally no one would ask anything.
Two people would be with us.
Why do I feel like if you that would be fun if they asked them before. But I feel
answer questions
people
as we go.
send us in a lot of stuff for the normal podcast, but I feel like the moment that we would go live, it'd be one person is watching, 0 are watching, 1 is watching.
Also,
0.
people hide on Instagram too. If we ask put something in the question box. Two questions.
Yes.
We say, tell us your embarrassing stories. 50 responses.
When it's anonymous, that is literally the only way that people want to respond. And I get it. I do get
Put yourself out there more, though. Just throw us a little something.
Yes, but if you don't want to, you have to give us more in the anonymous box.
That's so true.
You need to be crazier, more out of pocket for us, okay?
Which, yeah, we have no lack of that in this podcast, I feel like.
So what's up with you? Anything new?
I got poison ivy, and I've made it my whole personality. I was telling Jenna before this, I got poison ivy 2 years ago, and I
still have it.
And I still have it. It hasn't gone away. But I got it on my hands, or my arms last time. I was miserable. It was the summer of, I guess it was, maybe it was more than that. It was 3 years ago. Because it was the summer of 2020, and it was this exact weekend too. I remember being at a party and I had it all over my arms, and I was I hate my life. This sucks. And this time I was at a shoot on a farm, and with a very lovely family. It's no shade against them, but
we hate them. Just kidding.
They're my enemies now. But they were we were walking through a field, and they were oh, there's some poison ivy right here, and I was okay. Knowing my past experience too, I was how do I go about that? And they were oh, when you shower, or when you go home, just shower.
I don't think that is a viable way of preventing poison ivy.
No, but their children were walking through it too, so I was all right,
maybe
this is your home too.
That's very true. Exposed to it more.
Oh yeah. And I was all right. And I was wearing long pants and everything. And then when I got home, showered, felt fine. And then a few days later, these little bumps showed up on my legs. And I was that does not look like a bug bite.
Did you scrub your legs in the shower?
I literally poured Dr. Bronner's all over myself and was and like scrub, because I remembered how much I hated it last time, and I was like, I don't want to go through this again. Honestly, the fact that it's on my legs, though, it's much easier than my arms. I was miserable when it was on my arms. I remember just laying in, because you're supposed to take like Epsom salt baths, and I just remember laying in the bath like, please.
Yeah,
So,
it's like too accessible.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that it's on my legs, I had pants on all day, and I'm just like, I'm fine.
And forget about it. Does it feel like pure ecstasy when you itch it though?
No, I haven't itched it.
Oh,
I always itch around, but I do remember last time if I like would, it would.
You're just like, oh
that feels so good.
Gosh, it feels
We were
good.
at Cole's parents before this, and I was telling them about it, and his dad was like, oh, I had poison ivy one time on my face, on his face, he said, and on his leg, and he said that he would wake up in the middle of the night, like, he's like, I would catch myself like itching it in the middle of the night, and then be like, oh no. It's like disgusting.
You have to like, isn't that what they would make kids do with chicken pox, was wear oven mitts to sleep?
Yeah,
That's
so
horrible.
sad. Did you ever have the chicken pox?
No, but Tanner did when we were like in 2019.
I was gonna say, I feel like I remember that.
It was so random. To be fair, like, I don't know if I actually believe that it was chickenpox. I don't know. He like never has anything wrong with him. He's never sick. He'll get a cold here and there, but like the only 2 times I think that we've like that he's had to go to the doctor in like since we've been married was when he had chickenpox and when he had this random like also an allergic reaction and his face swelled up. It's always like
I
a
do
skin
remember
thing.
that. Oh my gosh, I
looked like
do.
an 80-year-old man.
That was crazy. That was like within the last year, wasn't it?
It was
I thought you guys
when we
lived
went to
here.
Yosemite. It was when we lived in the last house.
Okay.
It was in 2021. We went to Yosemite, and on the flight home, I also slightly got it, but not as bad as him. On the flight home, he kept being like, my face is so itchy, my arms are so itchy. And it was also really hot on our flight home. And I was like, is it a heat rash? Like, I don't know what's going on, but then we got home like super late that night, and then the next morning we woke up and he looked like a true 80-year-old man. I will put a picture.
We have to post
I'll post a picture.
I remember just like watching his close friend story. It got progressively worse, and I was like, Tanner.
It was actually so terrifying, and this is the funniest thing ever. We had a wedding that day, and we like had to go to MedExpress in the morning, like get a steroid or whatever they gave him. And then we had to drive to a wedding. And we haven't done a wedding episode where we tell like stories about weddings.
Yeah.
But something that reoccurringly happens to us during weddings is that Tanner gets hit on a lot by women, which of course he's a beautiful man. But this particular year, which it was I think this was kind of like the beginning of it. Last year when I was pregnant was when it was at an all-time high, and I was like, really?
Yeah, like, come on.
And it would be like, it's not just like a random middle-aged woman being like, look at you, cutie. It would be girls our age who were genuinely hot, would be grabbing his hand, pulling him to the bar, saying, take a drink with me.
Disgusting
and I was like,
behavior.
Stop it.
Stop it. I'm with child. His child.
You know what that means.
I had sex with
So anyways, we went to this wedding that day after he took the steroid, which like his face was still pretty swollen, and this was probably the worst. That he actually would say that he was assaulted at this wedding. This was one of the sloppiest, drunkest weddings I've ever attended in my life, and it was a young bride and groom, so it was a lot of like
truck in the history of the world.
it was a lot of like college kids.
Oh, okay.
And they were just blacked out. And like,
was Peter at this wedding?
No.
Oh, okay.
And these girls were hanging on him, literally coming up to him, grabbing on, let me see the videos you took of me, like laughing, doing all of this stuff, like grabbing his like butt, grabbing onto his arms constantly.
Ew.
And then this one girl was like obsessed with him, and her boyfriend was there, and he like started freaking out on her.
I remember
like,
that.
yelling at her. And then they went outside, and they were both so drunk, they were like yelling. He was like, why are you doing that. And she was like, I'm not doing that.
Doing that.
It was like so crazy. And Tanner was like, why is this happening when I look like a 90-year-old?
Tanner's like, please, guys, this isn't even my best.
Guys,
Like,
you should see me when
you should
I
see me
look
when
better,
I'm like really
okay?
hot. Like, please.
I have a rash. I have a face rash,
Oh
okay?
my gosh, I can't say way.
Anyways, that was total side note.
Rashes, you know?
Yeah, that's the poison ivy. It all comes back.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know. I hope it goes away. I just that's my life update. Also, I hate PA. That's continued from my solo episode. Tanner and I just finished like a 10-minute rant about how much this is just not summer. I hate it here. I'm ready to pack up my stuff and see ya. The podcast is over. I'm leaving.
We literally have the same. Like, we've been like looking like on the map. We're like, okay, so like this location would be good like in the winter, but would it be in the summer? Too hot? Like, it's just not. It's not it.
It's not it. And like, you might think we're being dramatic, which we are. But at the same time, it has literally, so now it is July 3rd when we are recording this episode. It has literally rained for like 5 days straight. It has not gone one day without raining. Like, so it's like if it happened like periodically or whatever, it has happened every day for like the past 5 days. And I'm like, it is summertime. It is supposed
July.
to be 90 degrees every day. I don't care if there's humidity. There's something supposed to, like some heat supposed to be happening. I am supposed to be golden brown right about now.
I am the palest I've ever been.
My legs aren't even shaven because I don't have to. Like, I'm not.
I literally wrote on my thing, like, put self-tanner on tonight, which I have not put self-tanner on in so long.
Was it when, I don't think we told this before. Remember me putting self-tanner on you when you were really pregnant? Like, before.
What was it for? Where were we going?
My wedding?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, it was for your wedding. Yeah. That was probably the last time I put it on.
But it was like you were 9 months pregnant, and she was very pregnant and naked, and I was helping her.
Ashley has had to help me do a lot of things naked.
Yes. And you too are.
Yes. If you listen, if you're a loyal listener, you know what we're talking about. If you're not, go back and listen. Okay.
You just got to listen to every episode to find it now.
Search for it.
What's in with you? You've had big life updates.
Yes. Did we go on a trip? No, we didn't. The last trip we were on.
Well, you went to Erie.
Yes, we went to Erie. Okay. Yes, a few big life updates have happened. First thing, I stopped breastfeeding.
Dun dun dun.
Ah!
If you want to, like, go.
I'll give a quick recap.
Give a quick recap and share your experience as much, obviously, as you want to.
Yeah. So the reason I want to share that is because I feel like other people sharing that as well has like freed me more, because I've shared also in the podcast that like I have had a hard time feeling judged by the crunchy community, and breastfeeding is like a huge
platform for them.
Yes.
It's one of their main
Pretty
talking
much,
points,
like,
what they're campaigning for.
Yeah, so like breastfeeding and co-sleeping is like probably the biggest crunchy, and home birth. Yeah. Is like the crunchy thing, and not going to a pediatrician and not vaccinating.
So we're all cut up.
So yeah, so obviously I had the thing in mind that I was going to breastfeed until she was 3, and you know, I was going to co-sleep, all of these things, and
which also let us make it very clear we are not judging anybody that does that. It's just, this is just talking about Jenna's experience.
I'm not judging anyone ever, because like as a mom, you just become so humbled so many times because you try to do something that you care about and believe in, and it just doesn't work out sometimes. So that's basically what happened to me with breastfeeding. So I always said at least a year I'd breastfeed, and when she was first born, everything was great. She had a great latch. She was drinking well. Everything was good. And then she was sleeping a lot at night. Like she was like sleeping so long. She slept so well, yeah. And so like my boobs would get really like hard and engorged, and I was like, okay, well I have to pump to like get the milk out. I was very, very concerned about getting mastitis.
Which is fair.
Yes.
I feel like it really takes people out.
Yes, and I know, like, pretty much everyone who breastfeeds is like, I've had mastitis, and I'm like, oh my god. So I did not want to get it. So anytime they would feel like engorged,
You're like, I gotta go.
I was like, I gotta pump it out. I didn't really realize that was telling my body, you need to make more, because even you're only supposed to breastfeed in the beginning when they're eating.
Okay.
But I was pumping as well, so it kind of was.
It told your body.
Basically make as much as like 2 babies or like maybe 1.5 would eat. And so then that made me have a really bad oversupply, which then made her start to, like, she would choke and cry and get gassy whenever I would feed her. And over time, she just started latching less and less. And I was like exclusively breastfeeding her probably for like the first 2 months. And then from like month 2 to 4, I would say, like, she would like latch here and there, especially when she was tired and sleepy. And then like after that, she just like stopped. Like she would like, I would put her to the breast and she would just like literally act confused. And I would get really emotional over it. Like I would like convince myself it wasn't happening. Like there were so many mental, emotional games that went on in my brain. And every single day I'd be like, Tanner, she's never going to breastfeed again. He'd be like, yeah, she will. And then she would latch again. I did this whole thing where I would like take a picture every time she latched, every time, so that I knew like, okay, she did it like 2 hours ago. It's okay. Like it's going to be fine. It was just so crazy. And then eventually I just got to the point where I was like, she just wouldn't latch anymore. And so I was like, I'm just exclusively pumping. It's fine. I just came to terms with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just what I'm doing. It's fine. She's still getting only breast milk. It's fine. And that is just 1,000 times harder than breastfeeding, because you have to have the pump. It has to be working. It has to have all the parts. It has to be washed thoroughly after every single time. You have to have the bottle. You have to, like, you can't just go with your baby. And there's just so much that goes along with it. There's times where I would forget my pump, or like I didn't have a battery or something, and it would just be like,
I mean, literally
chaos.
You were pulling over in Chick-fil-A drive-thrus, or like, and when you guys were driving and needing to plan out the road trip, so like you were driving to plug in the pump and stuff.
Yes.
So it was not anything casual by any means.
It was horrible. And like I was pumping every 2 hours. I was waking up at night to pump. It was just like so insane. And then after a while, it was just like, this is not good for me mentally. So I just went down to like pumping every like 4 hours. And then my supply really, really decreased. And then I got my period back, which I talked about in the last episode. And after that, it was like I was getting like 3 ounces every like 4 hours, which she was drinking like 8 ounces every 4 hours. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I was defrosting my frozen milk like 7 times a day. It was just horrible. So anyways, when we were in Erie shooting this wedding, I woke up in the morning and I went to go pump, and my pump just wouldn't work. It was just like not sucking. And I was like,
maybe this is a sign.
This is it. And I just knew. And I didn't say anything to Tanner for a while. And then I just like pumped. I just used my hand pump like once that day. And then like the next day, I just used my hand pump once again. And then like the next day, I was like, I haven't really pumped. Like, oh, sorry. I should say also, I bought formula like before that. And so I was like prepared for it to like kind of come to an end soon, but I didn't really know when. And then I was like, I haven't pumped. And yeah. And he was like, good job. And like he was so accepting of it, which like I don't know why I was afraid that he would be disappointed in me, because he never like has acted like that at all.
It's so funny when you just like assume like how people are gonna react, and then like it happens and you're like, oh wait, that was very irrational.
It was fine. Yeah. And he was like, you did so good. And then he got me.
This is so sweet.
Yeah.
I was like, good job, Tanner.
Yeah, he went the next day and got me flowers and was like, this is for, for breastfeeding for so long. And he got me lilies, because I sing the song to Monty every night, if he dresses the lilies with beauty and splendor, which was so sweet. So anyways, yeah, I stopped breastfeeding. I feel great about it. My boobs still really hurt.
Well, I've asked this to one of our other friends before. I'm like, so like what happens like when you're done? Because like if the baby still needs milk, like you can keep giving milk. But I'm like, does it just like eventually stop?
Yeah, it just like
because I thought you would get like infected or anything if you just like let it sit too long.
You would, but since I went down to like every 4 hours, and then I went down to like twice a day, and then I went down to once a day, it like weans it away.
Okay.
But then like the one day I just like did stop after 3 days of one pump only, and it's been like a week, and it still is like sore and like kind of hard, but it will eventually just stop.
Interesting.
Yeah, but if you pump more, it'll tell your body, okay, keep making it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. I just was like, let's just cut it off. So anyways, next baby will be different. I know so much more now. And maybe it won't. Maybe it won't be different. Maybe there'll be a different problem. There'll be a tongue tie. Whatever it is, it's okay because you just do your best.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, yeah, as a mom, like, obviously I don't know what it's like to be a mom, but like, you just I've seen this through so many like women in my life of like you constantly make plans and you're like it will be this way, and then stuff happens, and like you obviously you love your baby so much, and you did like, I feel like it's like a maybe a cliche at this point, but like even through birth, or it was like I want to do it this way, like I wanted her to be at home, and like I want these things, but your first action as a mom was protecting her and like taking her to the hospital, and like all of the different like just things that have come since then. You've always picked Monty, and you've always picked yourself to be the best version of Monty for Monty.
Thank you.
And so I'm happy for you.
It truly is just like, yeah, like you said, you make these plans and you just truly like you try your best, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And it's been such a huge lesson to me in like control and how things happen as a parent, because there's so many things. And Tanner has said to me so many times, he's like, these are the first things that you have to let go of control of over a lifetime.
Literally. Not even when they turn 18. It's every decision
like,
after.
You're gonna have to let her drive a car. You're gonna have to take her like to move out. Like, this is your first like release of the control, and it's gonna be happening, so just get used to it. And I'm like,
you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, but do you like overall mood and everything, you feel like different?
I feel much better because it's so much less stressful feeling like you need to. Yeah, it's much less stressful. Also now she's not crawling, but she's moving.
Ready to go.
Like, she will literally move across the whole living room in 10 seconds. And so when I'm sitting there plugged into the wall, she'll smack her head on something, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, so yeah, it just wasn't like, it wasn't super practical anymore, but yeah, I did my best and I feel good about it. And she's eating solids now too, which is like, she's obviously getting like good nutrients from that. And also she said mama. That's my other update.
It literally makes me cry. I can't. Did you bawl your eyes out when it happened?
No, because I was just in such shock, and then she like kept saying it, and I was just like, oh my gosh,
this is happening.
I feel like she obviously doesn't know that she's saying it about me. She's just saying the sound. Yes, but it still counts.
Oh, 1,000% it counts. Which also, I feel like M's are harder for them to do. I feel like almost every kid I know, it's always dada first.
I know. So I was like, I deserve this.
I have earned this.
But I think I will cry a lot whenever she says it in real. Ashley just spit her water out on herself.
What the heck? All right.
When she says it and looks at me and she's like, mama, or like reaches out to me, that will kill
That
me.
will do it.
But
oh, it's the best. I'm sure just like having this little person just be like, mama, mama.
So cute.
So cute. I'm so sad when by the time we got here tonight, she was already sleeping, but I feel like she's getting so big. I'm like looking at her on her little screen over here.
We're watching her on the monitor. She did you hear her make that little sound? I was like, oh, she's going to be up, but she was
I know
not.
She's been kind of rolling, but she's chilling. She knows that mama's got to work.
You better work, bitch.
That's very exciting. A lot of
Yeah.
Monty updates.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear when she crawls. Or I'm sure the listeners are excited to hear.
The listeners are on the edge of their seat about the Monty crawl.
Monty crawl. You have to post a video of like what she does, like where she's like revving up.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I feel like this month, like 7 has been like the most development.
Is she 8 now?
No, she's in the
Oh,
7th month.
okay. She just turned 7 months.
She's like 7.5.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Her little
but yeah,
Montaroon. I love her.
that's that.
Anything else? You don't have any more trips coming up, do you?
We'll see, because we hate PA right now.
That's true.
Literally in the car, we were just like talking about it. But it's so hard because, like, I mean, you obviously experienced our road trip.
Yes.
We were in a different car with the baby. So, like, it was hard.
Oh, 1,000%.
And
like,
it was hard, like, doing the whole, like, every time you get to the hotel, you set up the pack and play, you set everything up. Like, it was really hard. And so we were kind of weighing our options of, like, where could we go that we could, like, go somewhere and just set up camp and, like, be there.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know what we're going to do. But we have some free time, like, next month that we might try to do something.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have a ton of weddings this year?
Fall is obviously crazy. But
that's true.
The
summer
end of
like,
summer is still, like, pretty chill, like 2 a month.
Yeah. I feel like we sound so, like, maybe, like, the listeners might think we sound so ridiculous. But especially, like, with my parents living in Florida now, I'm like, I'm buying a one-way flight for $90 and see you later.
I feel like people, like, I feel like traveling is like so much more accessible and common now than it used to be.
I was like thinking about it because like we are gone very often, and I'm like, some people literally wait their entire year for 2 weeks. They're 2 weeks and that's it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like did my 2 weeks in like the first week of January.
I think because people work mobile now since 2020, I think that traveling has become way more common now.
The boys are back with our food. We're fine though.
Whenever I recorded my solo, there was so many times that there was like sounds like that sounded loud, but they were actually not on the recording when I listened. That's nice. So
I know this is our first time like obviously joint recording in here, and like they live like off of a highway, so I'm like, I wonder how much we'll pick up. But
yeah, it didn't pick up any on the other one, so I was like,
that's nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Anyways.
There's the birds. I was like, there's a bird in here.
There was a bat in here.
No, Jenna. We were actually talking about this at work with Katie today, because she was saying that her one thing she can't do is bats, and I was like, no, that checks out. Wait, was it the bat that was on the door?
It was on the door, yeah, and we thought it was injured, but then I got super close to it and it flapped at my face. What's your biggest fear, like, in terms of like something? Like, you can't say like, my
fear,
not cold dying or whatever, but you can say like, what's a thing that like scares you really bad?
Sometimes I feel like I get nervous. Oh, well, actually, we had this debate in Cape Cod, I think. Was it in Cape Cod? Of what would you rather encounter, a grizzly bear or a great white shark?
Oh, yeah.
And so just kind of talking about fears. I feel like my heart would be through the roof encountering a bear. Like, I would love to see a bear. But if a bear is running at me, I'm just going to die of a heart attack.
If a bear or a shark is coming at you, you're going to be scared. But what if you just saw it?
Oh, I guess maybe it's not if I saw, that's the thing though, is like, I don't know, like about the whole thing.
If you saw a bear and you were in your car, you'd be like, oh, a bear. But if you saw a shark and you were on a surfboard, you'd be like, bye.
But put it in, like, if I was on a walk and I saw a bear, I would shit my pants.
Black bear in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If it was, but like I've heard people be like, you just have to like let it know you're around, and like you can't sneak up on it. Yeah. Hi bear! Hi bear!
That's literally what they say. If you ever watch videos, they say, hey bear, hey bear.
But I've seen, I don't know, some animals just really freak me out. Which, it was funny that you posted this on your close friends, but Cole is like, one of his biggest fears is like monkeys and apes, and you were talking, Daniel and Tanner talking about gorillas. Like, he's like, they're so smart, like,
and they're so human, which is why they're saying it's scary.
Oh, it's so, what's your biggest fear?
Moths.
Really?
I can't believe you didn't know that about me. I hate moths so much because they terrorized me as a child. There was a really big one that was like this big that was like stuck on me, and it wouldn't leave me alone in the car, and it was like on my shoulder for like an hour. It was on my shoulder for like an hour. Before that, I loved them. The reason that this moth attached onto me was because I was holding it. And then I thought I'd let it go, fly away. And I get in the car, it's nighttime. It's on my shoulder, floating off of me. Ew. And then I get it off. I thought I got it off. It's on my foot the rest of the car ride. And so it really
You're saying this giant moth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
And then after that, they just started terrorizing me. I got one stuck in my ear canal that had to be removed. A tiny one. They always flap in my face. They're always near me. Specifically, I hate the ones that have thick bodies. And I hate big ones. I hate the ones that look like they have eyes on them.
Ew, ew, ew. I feel like I need to refresh my memory on what a moth looks like.
Don't even show me the Google. That's the reason. This is why I struggle with birds, because they flap like a moth. And I hate the flapping wings.
Moth.
Look up moth with thick body. Just look that up.
I'm
please.
terrified.
I can't even look at your screen.
Wait, I feel like I do remember this. Wasn't it like this moth with thick body? This feels like a thirst trap.
It's like a Megan Fox, but she has like moth wings on. She's like,
with a thick body. Oh, it might not load since we're out here.
Is Megan Fox? I don't actually really know what she looks like. Is she like?
We should do
is
this
she
on
like a Kardashian. Like thick.
Actually, I don't know if she's thick. She's very skinny though.
Oh, she's not thick.
She's actually a stick and 90 pounds, but so maybe she's got some hips to her. Of course, it's not gonna load. I have that
loaded, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
actually can't look up moth with thick
moth.
Body, but.
We should do a whole podcast episode. Okay. On Jenna identifying celebrities, because she's just not in it. Moth with
It's so funny because Tanner made a TikTok that said like that was my beige flag, was that I don't know anything about celebrities, and he was just like saying that casually at a wedding to the DJ, and the DJ was 57 years old and he really latched onto it. He's like looking up like on his phone on Google. He's like, wait, who's this? And it would literally be Hannah Montana. I'm like, it's Hannah Montana. Then he would look up something so obscure.
Oh, Bruno, it finally loaded. Oh. They literally look like butterflies. Are they in the same family?
Yeah, probably. Right?
Ew. Okay. Sorry, moving on.
But he would just like pull up something so obscure and be like, who's this? And I'm like, I don't know.
Are you going to tell the rest of it?
About then randomly one he just put up, and it was just a picture of a Twinkie. Like the pastry. Is Twinkie like a slur?
No, like a twink.
What's a twink?
Don't put me on the spot, but I think it's like, I don't know. Like
what if it's like really racist?
Is it? Gosh, please, like phone load again. Cole has described it to me before, but I know it's like not bad because, okay. Among gay men, a gay or bisexual young man with a slim build and a youthful appearance.
Okay.
Now that we've covered that.
It was a Twinkie, the pastry that he pulled up, and he was like, what's this? I'm like, a Twinkie. It was just such a weird experience. He like couldn't let go of it. He like kept like showing more and more and more. And
but it was just so funny that it was like, oh yeah, like she doesn't know a lot of celebrities, and then he's like, a Twinkie. Do you know what a Twinkie is?
This girl's an idiot, honestly. Like, does she even know anything about life? He's like, let me show her a potato. We'll see if she knows what that is.
Have you ever seen that before?
Do you know what New York City is?
Have you left Pennsylvania?
Okay, this is a globe.
You had your first trip in a car here today.
You have a camera. Okay, but okay.
He's like, how does this girl have a business?
This girl is an idiot.
We should do like, I think this episode is just talking about future episodes. We should do an episode of like the wedding ones, and like once we're like halfway through the season, see what we've collected like for the year of like just random stories.
I feel like that's my only like kind of like weird or funny story that I've had so far this year. The weddings have been very smooth.
Yeah. I
Be like, well, the one I shot last weekend scared me.
I will talk about the one I shot last weekend, 2 weekends ago, with my girl. Actually, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want people to put 2 and 2 together. We'll call this girl Sarah. And the worst guest experience that I've ever had in my entire life.
Yes,
this
you said
guy,
you were going to share this and you didn't yet.
Yes, this guy, which the photographer that I shot with listens, so she'll appreciate this. But he is my worst enemy, and I cannot describe it as like other than he was a 30-plus-year-old man who never got attention as a child and was now 30 years old, like just craving attention from anyone that would give it to him. And they're like, that's just him. He's such a crackhead. But like, no, like during the ceremony being ridiculous, like it was like a Catholic wedding too. And so like people like were being quiet and he was like, yeah, let's go. And then he unfortunately is I don't know if like I should give so much detail, but I'm sure it's fine. He's also a videographer.
He is actually our number 1 listener.
Yeah.
Okay.
He listens regularly.
Oh, of course he is. So he obviously
he
should
told
tell
us
you what to do.
Yeah. He was like, oh, and also the bride and groom were late to their portraits because we had to drive somewhere separate from like the location. Like literally their venue and their ceremony were right down the street from each other. Then we drove 30 minutes each way to this place.
Was it worth it?
No, because then they showed up late. It was a very tight timeline. They showed up late, and because they stopped at Sheetz on the way to get alcohol. And so they made us very late in our day, and they were like, it's okay. Like, I have actually never known a couple to want, like, less portraits before.
Oh, wow.
They were like, yeah, we don't really care. Like, we'll just grab some. Like, as long as we get this and this.
On my wedding day, I was like, more.
I need more time.
Think of more poses. I want more things of us.
1,000%. I would have gotten more if it wasn't raining. I didn't want to ruin my...
I feel like your end of the night photos really like seal
Oh,
the
I'm
deal.
so happy. Yeah, listen, that was not a slight at all. Like, I love all of our stuff, but I was like, I don't want to get wet.
Oh,
I cut so many family photos too because I was like, I don't want to stand out in the rain anymore.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Oh yeah, and then I'll just round it all out with this, that during the first dance he kept saying, dip her, and then he unfortunately had to make a speech as well, which was very terrifying.
He was the best man.
He was I think. Well, 2 people gave speeches on each side, so they each had 2 people, and he proceeded to spend the next what felt like 20 minutes telling stories that nobody else knew. He was like, I know my guy here is a big sports guy, so I'm gonna get, like, ESPN gives their top 10 like every day, like plays or whatever. I'm gonna get my top 10 moments of Bob. That wasn't his name. And
it would be different if you were just like 1997 at the beach in Myrtle Beach, and then you go to the next one, you're like high school graduation when you dumped water on your head. Like,
but like he did like some were short like that, where he's like, oh, no, some were short like that, where he was like, you just had to be there. And it's like, okay, that's like kind of annoying. But like there were 5 people that got it. Okay, cool. But then there were others that he went into depth, and he was like, Bob, do you remember? You stole
like,
your mom's
bro.
liquor and we got wasted. And then we had the cops called on us, and
then you went into your dad's truck and you broke all the windows, and we blamed it on the neighbor guy, and he went to jail for it.
literally like that kind of stuff. And her family, like literally the photographer I was with has a photo of a family member going like,
no,
yes, because they all, and I was standing next to one of her like family's tables, and I think they all just kind of kept looking at each other like, who is this guy? Like, what is he doing? And and then at the end of it, was like, he finally got to the end. He literally listed 8 memories, because 2 of them, you had to catch him at the bar afterwards to get the full story.
I love whenever people add like a little,
come find me later,
I'll tell you that one. Wait, I'm so sorry, I have to share this.
Please,
really
go ahead.
quick, and then we need to get to the actual episode. This one wedding, the brother was the best man, and he was giving toast obviously about the groom, and he said this I've never heard anyone say something so out of pocket, but it landed so well.
Oh.
He was like, so when I was a kid, my brother thought that the word masturbate meant to relax. And he, like, no one would ever correct him because they thought it was so funny. And so he would always say, I'm just going to go up to my room and masturbate.
That's actually incredible.
The parents would be like, okay. And they just let him think that. And he would like say one guest where he's like, oh, I'm really tired. I was masturbating all morning.
And the crowd lost it.
Yes, everyone was laughing so hard, and I thought it was so funny, but like it could have went wrong.
1,000%. Yeah. But especially since the parents, like it was the parents doing, I'm like, as long as you have like the parents in on it, but like if you're telling a story where it's like you messed up something of the parents, it's like, okay, why are you bringing that up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to we always say we're going to do a wedding horror stories episode, but we won't even be
put the
taking
form up.
submissions.
Yeah.
We just need to talk the whole time.
The stories we could
talk
tell
the whole time.
Absolutely. But anyways, would not recommend this guy as a best man for your wedding.
And his name is
Bebop.
Beep. Beep.
Beep. Anyways, all right. You wrote in things.
You wrote to ask us for advice. We are obviously extremely qualified to give you advice.
Practically
and so,
therapists.
Yeah, we're just gonna do a few.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking for a while already.
And the boys are back with my food.
We need our special treats. Mine will not load.
Oh, I think I had mine up.
Now.
Okay.
Maybe
I got one.
Will. Okay.
All right. My best friend hasn't met my baby and it's been 7 months. And just started reaching out trying, and now I'm over it and don't even want it. What would you do if I hadn't spoken to you until now after having Monty? That's actually crazy.
That's very hard because, like, it seems like maybe this friend doesn't live here. Like, live close to you.
Because that feels impossible to be so.
If you were actually best friends and you live close to each other and you haven't seen her for 7 months since you had a baby, they're not your best friend.
Yeah.
But if they live far away and it has to be like a whole thing for her to come out and like potentially like get a hotel, maybe fly. I don't know.
Have a little bit more sympathy.
Yeah. And if she said the friend is trying to reach out.
Now she is, yeah.
Yeah, maybe she was just like trying to give you some space. I don't know. Like, I know this is what we say every time, but could you say like, it kind of hurts my feelings that this is the first time that you're like trying to, and like see what she says, because she might be like, oh my god, my sister-in-law told me to like never ask to
That's
come
so
for like
true.
the first 4 months or something like that.
Yeah. And now this is just what works with my schedule or something.
Yeah, and you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I feel like that is sometimes, if that's like how she was leaning, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's definitely where I fall, where sometimes I'm just like, instead of being like, I'm like in a baby is different because it's like I knew this was coming, but like if like an injury happens, like I'll be like delayed to say something.
Someone gets poison ivy.
If someone gets like, where are you guys at? Like, you've given me my space too much. I need you to come to my rescue now. But like if somebody, yeah, like gets in an accident or anything, sometimes to me this is like could be baseless, but it feels very pick me to like run to the person. Like obviously I would do it for you, but if it was someone I was like loosely friends with, I don't want to be like, oh my god, do you need anything? My best friend was in a car accident.
Yes, I completely agree. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard because it's like I have a lot of best friends. I have 4 best friends, and 3 of them don't live here. And I'm
the only one hanging on.
Truly.
Maybe. That's funny that you think you're in the top 4.
Oh yeah. But my one lives in Tennessee, and like I didn't get to meet her baby until he was 5 months, and like she wasn't mad at me.
Yeah, maybe it was like If this girl lived in the same area as you and she's been avoiding you for 7 months, she is not your friend.
Yeah, I would say something for sure and just be like, yeah, I would love for you to like come meet the baby, but also like why did it take you this long? It like kind of hurts my feelings.
Yeah, just respond, took you long enough. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, this is long. There's a lot of backstory to this.
Okay, first of all, I want to add, I love the backstory because even in the last one, we had to guess a lot. Yes. So give me all the backstory.
Tell us, make it as long as you can, honestly. Write us a novel. There's a lot of backstory that I don't have time to give. Okay.
Oh, well, bitch.
Well, there's some backstory at least, okay, because it is very long. I need advice on whether or not I'm the one that needs to reach out to someone to make amends or if it's on them. Okay. A few months ago, my niece came to visit. While she was at our house, I was very sick and having a procedure done.
At your house?
It's not funny, but I'm just picturing it being done in the house. She's having it done immediately. Okay. I was sick and having a procedure done. I made a joking comment about our house being messy. Sorry. Yeah, I made a joking comment about our house being messy and said, don't tell your family how messy our house is. Very much a joke, and I was exhausted from the procedure. I would never tell a child to hide something from their parents.
Oh, no.
While she was here, she also confided in me that she wanted social media and was going to ask her parents for it. I am very against children having social media, but told her that would be her parents' decision to make, but that I think she's better off without it. Obviously, she went back home and told all this to her parents. I didn't think anything I said was disrespectful or wrong. However, her mother said I was brainwashing her and that my comment about the house was telling her that her parents are judgmental.
My goodness.
She says they are, but I never meant it that way.
She's like, if the shoe fits.
I apologized to my sister-in-law and said it wouldn't happen again. While discussing all of this, I decided to open up to my sister-in-law about some actions she had done that hurt me. Not to dive too deep into what she did, but basically put others above my child and my family, but then pretend she's the best aunt in the world. Since my child was born, they have visited twice. Oh, lots of child visiting things. And one was basically forced for my child's birthday party. She asked me to change the party date a few days before the party because she forgot they had a fun church event with friends.
That's rude.
They always say they're too busy to visit us and always ask us to come see them, and we do. Anyway, I apologized for the comments I made, but then opened up about things she did that hurt me, and she never responded. It's been over a month.
And she just left you on red.
She has yet to talk to me. I also had a bad diagnosis from the procedure after this all happened, and they didn't even reach out to see if I was okay.
Ew.
I'm just really hurt, but don't know if maybe I was the one in the wrong. What should I do? And side note, I'm pregnant and haven't told them. Congrats. Since they've been so blah. Would it be wrong of me to post it on socials without telling them? Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
First of all, let me just say I'm sorry about your diagnosis. I hope you're doing okay, and congrats on your second pregnancy, or maybe third.
Yeah, kids, maybe.
Congrats,
baby.
Okay, let's start with the niece. The niece staying over.
Yeah.
First of all, you were doing them a favor by watching their child when you were having a procedure. I'm assuming it wasn't just like a...
Yeah, what the heck? And you have kids of your own, too. Like, I was thinking in the beginning of that story, like, independent aunt, like, or, like, fun aunt, like, coming over for, like, a sleepover and stuff. And, again, in the midst of recovering. And then now learning that you have your own kids, too, it's like, all right, I was doing you a favor, clearly.
Yeah, and that's, like, such a normal thing to say of, like, don't tell your parents how messy our house is. That's not brainwashing a child. This woman seems like she's extremely catty.
I feel like part of me also just kind of feels like she's finding reasons to not like the sister-in-law, too. I'm like, you're going to, like, throw a fit over that?
Yeah. She might just not like you. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
She might just not like you because, like, all of those things put together that, like, she doesn't care about, like, your kid and she doesn't, like, want to make the effort for whatever. it seems like she just doesn't like you.
Yeah, it is. It all together is like very interesting, and I don't think you're in the wrong.
No.
I think I would follow up, and there's something to be said about being that bigger person. And again, if you've already said like something and she didn't respond, I would just maybe shoot her another text and be just like,
hey, did you get my last message?
did you get my last message? If you would rather talk on the phone, like, because it doesn't seem like you guys live close to each other. If you'd rather talk on the phone, hello, that was a giant bug. I would love, is it a moth? Oh no.
They're going to start flocking to the light. Yeah. Those ones don't bother me. It's like the big ones. Should I close the doors?
I don't want to be locked in here with him, but he just like came out of nowhere.
He wants the light, obviously.
Yeah. All right. We'll wrap it up and he'll. Oh my god.
Okay, just ignore it.
Okay. Oh crap, what was I saying?
Being the bigger person.
Being the bigger person.
Did you get my last message?
Did you get my last message? And if you would rather talk about it in person, let me know. Talk about it in person or like on the phone. Send her another text, and then like, I don't know, like I don't have a sister-in-law yet. Like I only would through like Cole's brother, or like, so I don't have any in-laws outside like that have married into our family at all. But like, do you bring in your husband at some point and be like, dude, like,
well, it might not even
not
be
husband,
his.
sorry, brother.
It could either be your husband or your brother.
She said it was her sister-in-law, so I just like kind of figured it was like her brother's wife.
But it could also be her husband's. Like my sister-in-law's is like my husband's brother's wives.
Yeah, that's true.
My husband's sisters.
That's true.
So
do you bring in extra family at any point and you're like,
yeah, I would send the message and just be like, hey, did you get my last message? See where it goes from there. If she doesn't respond to that, I would say there's no harm in posting your pregnancy. Like, don't wait for her at that point. But if she then doesn't respond to that, or however she does respond, I think I would just accept that it's just not, you guys are not meant to be close, and just kind of accept that it's just going to be like a family relationship. And like, just because you're family, you don't have to be so close. You don't have to be besties. And like, it does suck if you both have kids the same age. You want that relationship to be great, and like, you picture those relationships being so good when you get married or someone marries into your family. You're like, oh, it would be so fun if like our kids all played together and stuff. But that's just not always reality, and you might just have to accept that that's not going to be with her, unfortunately.
You can't change crazy. And then if she's being this crazy towards you, it's like, do you want your kids around that?
Yeah. It sucks though that your niece is like, loves you clearly, like her daughter, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And like really likes you and wants to talk to you about stuff, and you probably want to be close with her. It's very hard.
Love you. And congrats on the pregnancy. Okay, this one makes me laugh. I am so tired of working for creepy ass men. I've had way too many experiences with bad bosses / managers. I want to make the switch to work for myself, but it always seems so daunting. Any advice on how to switch to being your own boss? I feel like it is something that takes a long time to get any traction, and I always have an issue with pride and my work. I hate telling people, oh, I'm just a barista for now, but I'm working towards something bigger. I feel like people look down on that, and I just want to be a successful and happy girl boss. Trust
I wish
the process,
that this person would say what they want to be their own boss for, because then I would be able to give better advice.
Yeah, I agree.
What is your talent?
Tell us your talent. Yeah, I'm trying to like, this is like, I don't know. I'm like, she owns like a sticker shop, and we're like, take the leap. Start the sticker shop. I don't know. Like, I guess like, I feel like we've like definitely touched on this before, but like, you fully took like a leap with photo, and you were just like, I don't want to work for the creepy ass men anymore.
I was in that same scenario.
Yeah.
And he was a creep.
Yeah. And you just like, you make it work. Like, I don't know. I feel like what we always say, again, if you're not photo, I'm very sorry that this doesn't apply to you, but we always say, like, just hustle, like, as much as you can. And, like, but also, like, to what you said, too, I don't want you to feel like there's any shame in doing, like, being a barista and, like, doing the hard work. It's, like, I don't think anyone fully ever feels like they've arrived.
I agree.
And so it's, like, everyone's always working towards something, and you, like, people do, like, whatever, like, people are in specific scenarios that aren't, like, what they've always preferred for specific reasons. Like, people are in, like, people sometimes are baristas to go to college, like Starbucks will, like, take care of that and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like you shouldn't feel the pressure to, like, say, like, I'm just a barista for now, but bigger things are coming. Like, it's okay to just be a barista.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
If that's your life goal, is to work up, like, people spend so much of their life, like, or, like, people, hello?
Sorry, that means the monitor's disconnected. I think Tanner unplugged it because he didn't want me to, like, I would.
He said, don't look.
No, he didn't want to disturb the podcast.
Oh, that's very sweet.
But instead it made a beep.
But yeah, I think that some people spend their life working their way up in, like, the Starbucks corporate ladder, and that's what they want, and that's okay. And even though being a barista is not what you want, it's a means to get you to what you do want. I feel like constantly, like, in just our world, people are constantly having to, like, shout at, or, like, are shouting at people and being like, if you're not doing, like, what you want with your life, you're wasting your minutes away. And it's just, like, sometimes, like, am I in the house of my dreams right now? No. Like, but I am living in a house that is comfortable and free to save the money to be in my dream house one day. I'm not going to stress myself out and get a loan that I can't afford because I want to be in my dream house now, and that's what I deserve.
And I do deserve it.
And I've earned it because I've been a special girl.
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, I know it sucks, like, working for creepy men, like you said, but also don't, like, give yourself the pressure of, like, I have to own my own business today and be making more than I made before and, like, be just, like, this super successful person. Like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I think, like, as cheesy as it is, and this is a cheesy statement, but, like, just grind in the dark, and, like, when you come home from pouring coffee shots, like, work on your side business, and to the point where you can take it full time one day if that's truly what you want. And, like we said, like, if it's photo, like, I think that you should be taking as many free clients as you can, because to build up that portfolio so people can book you. But I'm like, if it's not,
Yeah. I mean, that applies to any, like, side hustle, I would say. It's like grind in the dark.
Grind in the dark,
but
literally.
Yeah, build your portfolio and then get some clients. And then I would say definitely do it scared. Like, quit your job before you think you're ready to, because it forces you to figure it out.
Yeah, because you have nothing else, to pay the bills other than whatever you end up coming up with. And so I may, like, to be fair, also, let us say, if this creepy man is very creepy, then let's
take it to HR, baby.
Take it to HR, and let's maybe change barista jobs. But there is no shame in being a barista.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Let me pull it up for you.
How much of your life is work? 50, 60, 70%?
I feel like they're about to sell me something.
How much do you think it should be? I just started a second job because I need money. But is life just about work? I don't know. I'm grieving childhood. What do you think adulthood is all about?
That actually makes me so sad.
That sucks. I feel that.
Go ahead.
I think that everything that you're doing in your life is always work, whether it's earning money or not. Like, caring for your home is work. Caring for a child is work. Caring for your car is work. You know?
Mm-hmm. A clean house. Yes, you kind of said that.
Bettering yourself is work. And what you do for money is work. So I think it depends on how you look at it. And obviously, like, going to do 2 different jobs for someone else for money is very hard, and like literally good for you for doing that, because that is truly like exhausting.
Yeah.
But I completely can relate to grieving childhood. I only have one job, and
you have two now. You're a mom.
Yes, I'm a mom, and I definitely grieve the ease of childhood a lot because oh, he got her back to sleep. The carefreeness of it.
Yeah.
But I would say I've been grieving that since I left my parents' home.
So it's like, yeah, it's not something like since becoming a mom.
No, I think it's maybe a little bit more since becoming a mom. I guess not so much childhood, but just, you know,
literally the carefreeness.
The carefreeness of literally just going to Sheets. But like, it's obviously worth it. But all that to say, I feel like ever since I left my parents' house, I have grieved childhood, because it's like, oh, so now I have to do taxes.
So yeah.
Even just buying our house, it's like, oh, now our freaking hot water heater is broken in the middle of winter and we need a new one. Oh, now our car needs brakes. Oh, now
it's literally always just one thing after another.
It always is, and that's just life.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the quicker that you reframe your mindset of like, this is, well, I can give you two pieces of advice. One is like from a Christian standpoint, like reframing it as like, this is like a joy and like an honor to like do these things. But from another standpoint that's not Christian, like we're doing it for the plot, and like picturing yourself in a movie and you're just like, you're going to your second job. It's like late and you're just like, so sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just
romanticize it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Romanticize the grind and like the exhaustion, and just like, I'm up at all hours. I'm grinding. I'm getting this money, and like I have to do this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I agree, like echo everything that you said about like childhood. Like I wish, like I feel like you just spend your whole life like, when I grow up and get out of the house, when I grow up, and then like literally like not living next to my mom now like makes me so sad. I'm like, you literally were like my next door neighbor, where like we shared a wall, and now you live a state away. And I mean, like that's been the case for like a long time, like the last few years. But I'm just like, even like, yeah, the proximity to your parents, like obviously if you have healthy parents, but it is just like, I wish that there was like, because like people tell you like when you grow up, like you won't like you'll have to do all of these things, X, Y, and Z, and like people tell you that. But I wish like it would be a way for it to like fully catch and like fully get through.
Oh my gosh, we have been talking so much lately about like things that we wish that we could go back and like think for the first time almost. And like that is totally one of them. Is like, I'm so sorry. I wish that I could explain to myself truly how adulthood will be and how much you will miss this. All that to say, I understand this won't be forever.
Romanticize it while you can, because I will say almost every, I don't know if you can say this too, but so far in my life, all 24 years, every phase of my life, I have like looked back on with like such fondness. Even like they're like, even like the toughest of times, Cole and I always like, and I feel like you guys do this voice too, but we always joke. And like when we go do something, like when there was a couple month gap there in 2019 where I was very depressed. And so I'd be like, I used to come to Target and walk around because I had no friends and I was depressed. But like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I grew so much in like that season, and like that was right before I became friends with you guys. And I'm just like, and again from a spiritual perspective, I'm like, God taught me so much like in that time, that like even though in the middle of it I was like, this can't be it, like and I like hated like things. I was just like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have traded like. And even like now being married, like I feel like people might look down on me for this like opinion, but my single years, and I've expressed this to you before, were literally some of the best years of my life. I was like, I did everything I wanted to do when I was single.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I lived by myself. Like, I got like a little Christmas tree. I romanticized everything. And now I am like, oh, I don't wish for that season back because I love living with my husband and I love being married. But I'm just so happy that like I like had that time. And so I think you're kind of the one that like said romanticize it. I 100% agree. And just like romanticize the grind. And maybe that's, I feel like people really want to cancel grind culture, which is like whatever. But make sure you're getting your special drink routine. What I, again, also, sorry, I'm like now gonna go on a rant, but like when we were driving back from Cape Cod or like from Maine, it was a 13-hour drive. And the whole time, the night before, every 2 hours, I set out little treats for myself. So I was like, after the first 2 hours, I'm going to go stop and get a coffee. After the next 2 hours, I'm going to listen to a podcast I've been holding on to. After the next 2 hours, I will get a Coke at a gas station, like, and just set out treats for myself. Like, do that for your life. And like, it might sound childish, but like, again, if you're trying to connect with your inner child, treat yourself like a child.
So
Just
true.
be like, okay, it's Monday. I have a lot of stuff to get through. By the end of Monday, I'll go to my favorite restaurant. By the end of the work week, I'll get this thing I've been looking at. And yeah, I think, that set out little treats, romanticize it. Obviously, you have to work.
And just know it's not forever. Like,
yes.
You're not going to be working 2 jobs for the rest of your life. You will advance in one aspect or another, make more money, achieve your goals. You got this.
If there's anything we know about the Let's Debrief listeners is that you are go-getters and successful women. And so
absolutely
go get it. All right, maybe the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so excited to become a mom soon, but nervous I won't want to go back to the career that I've worked so hard for and people know me for. My husband can support us and lovingly reminds me that I don't have to work and he can provide. Interesting. Any tips on letting go of that identity and not rooting so much of your worth in the success of your business? Talking to the person that would cancel the rest of her weddings the rest of the year she could.
Yeah.
That's very dramatic, obviously, but
okay. Here's my advice. Here's my thoughts. You will become a different person when you give birth to your child. And everything will become second to that. So you don't even need to worry.
Just sit back and relax.
You don't even need to worry about that. Well, okay. I don't want to fully say this. This is
what your experience was.
Okay. And I am working towards being a stay-at-home mom. So I personally, like, I think it's amazing that your husband is able to provide, and I would do that in a heartbeat if I did not have weddings booked 2 years out that I'm committed to. I think you don't even need to worry about hanging on to your career, feeling like that's what people know you for, that's your identity, feeling like you're going to miss it so much. I don't think you will. I think that everything will become about this baby, and that will be, you're literally reborn when you give birth, and you are not the same person, and you will become a new person, which is that baby's mom, and that is your job now. And I think it will be great.
Yeah. And there, again, like, that was your experience. If that does not happen for you, there's nothing broken about you. And maybe you just scale back, like, in the time being, like, again, like, assuming, no, Jenna, no. No. Oh, no. What was it, a moth?
No, it was a mosquito. Oh. It was on you for so long. Okay, we have to finish this podcast.
Okay, so we record with the doors closed now. Okay, so it sounds like you're a business owner, maybe. So maybe if you're in customer service or like an exchange of goods, maybe people get stuff from you. Then you just scale back in the time being and kind of feel it out. Like, I am like like, this is not directed at you because I love you very much, but I'm so sick of people saying, like, which it's like, it's very valid, but I've decided I'm not going to live like this anymore. Of people saying, like, I'm just, like, so nervous of, like, what people will, like, think about me. Mm-hmm. It is your life.
Literally.
You are only, like, at least as we know, here one time to experience this life, and you are going to, apparently I'm yelling at you now, I'm going to be mean, but you are going to waste your precious moments here on this earth, precious first moments, assuming, like, with your baby, worrying what other people think about you. Absolutely not. That is not a debriefer mentality, okay? Yeah. You are a strong woman, and we do not care about what other people think about us, because it's so not worth it. Again, I think you also said that you were also nervous, but speaking to the aspect of, worrying what people are going to say about you, it is just, let them talk about you. What, like, at the end of the day, like, it's just, it's a drop in the bucket of life. And I guarantee you, like, no years down the road, you, like, if people talk, let them talk. But I guarantee you, they are not talking as much as you think that they are.
Yeah, and if you decide that you do want to keep working, you'll find a babysitter. You'll figure it out. Lots of people do, and it'll be completely fine. And I also just want to say that being a stay-at-home mom is extremely noble and hard and
absolutely
important work in our society as well. So you could also reframe your mindset to seeing that as just as, hard. And I would say it's probably harder.
Yeah. There's a lot of different avenues, but I think don't make any rash decisions before the baby is born.
Take your maternity leave. See how you feel.
See how you feel. And if you never want to walk into your office, again, not knowing your circumstance, again, you have every right not to do that, and invest in your life in that baby. And
And if you do, you'll figure it out.
You will figure it out. Maybe maybe your dream life of a healthy balance of scaling back up business, but to be there for your baby is just around the corner.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
All right, we're going to wrap this up because we are outside. We are hungry. There are bugs around us. Monty keeps waking up. So, yeah.
We were like, this is going to be a new space. We're away from the evil beagle. Literally everything else is
come back, please.
Everything else has terrorized us. Okay. You know the deal. Also, if you missed out on merch, you missed out forever. So don't miss the next one. Maybe we'll do something in the fall or winter.
Yeah.
We love you so much. Follow us on everything. Let's Debrief Pod. And we will see you next time. Bye.